A fashion portfolio is a body of work that demonstrates your potential as a designer. It gives us insight into your views and how you engage with the world around you. It also serves as an expression of your opinions and allows you to process the world around you and comment on things that inspire you. My name is Nikki St. Quintin. I'm head of department here at the Design Academy of Fashion, and today I want to talk you through the steps of creating a successful fashion design portfolio. We're looking for people that are curious and inquisitive, bold and aspirational, students that have an interest in the world around them and has something to say through creative expression. Someone who will go to museums, galleries, festivals, markets, plays, and films to get inspiration, who is passionate about people and the reasons why we wear what we wear, an interest in the human psyche itself, not just clothing and trends. The first part of the application is the essay, and this will give us insight into who you are, as well as why you want to choose fashion as a career path. It will give us an indication of your writing skills and also an insight into your point of view. The next part that your portfolio should include is research and design development through the visual diary. A visual diary is an essential part of the design process. This book shows creative investigation, comprised of mind maps, inspirational images, quotes, photos you've taken, and your own drawings, lyrics, icons, anything and everything you find inspirational. It is creative exploration that shows you didn't go for the first idea, but the best idea. It shows that you're adaptable, forward-thinking, and unique. Record your surroundings, take photographs, draw objects, be aware of things going on around you. There is potential for design in everything, whether architecture, nature, icons, or subcultures. The next part of your application process is the Moodboard, and this is based on the research you've collected in your visual diary, whittling it down to the essential parts. It is a collection of inspirational images around a particular theme. So as you can see here, I've collected my images around my theme, which is Varsity Squad. So it's inspired, it's got a college feel to it, it's got a retro, sporty, preppy feel to it. And so now I'm going to just play around with the images I have. And it's also important to note that if you can say what you want to say within a few images, that's better than having too many. And it's also important that the images are not pixelated or too small. So we also want to play around with the white empty space around the board. So I'm just going to sort of play around a little bit with the elements and where I want to place them. As you can see, I've got also textures and objects. So it's not just fashion images that we want to see, but you are trying to sort of create a mood and feel with the images that you do choose. Another thing that you can include in this is keywords. So the keywords help just reinforce your theme. I can see that's not working. So I'm just basically working on layout at the moment. Adding in my keywords, also very important to have your season. And then once you're happy with the composition, you can stick everything down. And what is also very important is to stick things down straight and cut them out straight, as the eye very quickly picks up when something is skew. So the last part of the application process is the storyboard, which consists of 3 illustrations, designs based on your inspiration of your mood board. So I'm going to talk you through some various tips and do's and don'ts. The first thing that you'll need to do is, for now, just to download a fashion template or croquis that you like off the internet and use that as a template. The next step I like to do is to put some press stick on the page just to stop it from moving around, and then place your new piece of blank paper over it. So the next thing we do is use it to draw our garment over the figure. And obviously mine is varsity squad, so it's college inspired. So I'm going to do a somewhat baseball jacket inspired dress. So I like to start off by drawing the garment first. So I'm going to start off just placing it on the body. And then we want to have our baseball style jacket. Ribbing part of the neckline is a very strong part of that detail. It's important to also make sure that it looks like the clothes are somewhat sitting on top of the body, so we don't want to always draw right on it. So these can be quite sketchy, and when we go over them in Copics or pencil crayon, that's a great way to clean up all of our lines and make sure everything's making sense. So there we have my jacket inspired dress. And then I like to draw the rest of the figure in. And then obviously remember, accessories are quite important. So I might choose to draw a pair of sneakers just to reinforce that theme. So you'll need to do 3 of these inspired by your trend. And give her a cap. And don't worry too much about the facial features, all that kind of thing. We would go into quite a lot of detail teaching. So you can just use very basic outlines. And there is my basic first sketch. Okay, so the last and final step of your fashion illustration is the rendering. We have a couple Copic markers here, which are really nice to work with because they work very well with pencil crayon combined. So as you can see, I've been playing around a little bit. It's always a good idea to test your colors out and make sure that you are rendering it the best way that you find possible. So I always like to practice. So you can see I practiced a little bit here, but using the Copic marker. The nice thing about Copic markers is that they cover large surfaces. So I'm just going to start with the skin tone here. So you can see this is slightly different to the other one. So I can see which one I prefer. And the idea is that you move in a scrubbing motion and you can go fast or slow. But the nice thing is it doesn't show the lines that a normal Koki would show. And if it bleeds over the edge, it's not the end of the world. We can clean it up. So the next thing is to actually layer. So the more you layer over your Copic, the more it's going to look more three-dimensional, which is the purpose of rendering. So we're trying to take it from a two-dimensional flat drawing into something more three-dimensional. So now I'm going to go over with my pencil. I'm going to clean up some of the lines that I might have bled over. And it's also very important to learn the shading technique. So you press hard and you pull the color out as you go lighter. So we would assume that the light is coming from that side and the darker side is there. So as you can see, the pencil crayon and the Copic work really nicely together. in layering. So that's what we're trying to achieve, is this kind of more three-dimensional effect. And as you go along, you will obviously learn to work with all sorts of different mediums. So it's very important when it comes to your garment and your designs to make sure that your garment is similar in color to the colors on your mood board. And as you can see from the previous, my mood board had a lot of blues and navy blues in it. So I'm going to do that for my dress. So the first thing I would do is start again from dark to light. And quite important to have something under your illustration so that it doesn't pick up whatever's underneath it, so you can get a nice smooth gradient. As you can see here, we didn't have something underneath. And then I always say the rule of thumb is if your color is blue, try to have at least 2 to 3 shades of that color within your fashion illustration, so we're getting more dimension. And then if you really want to, you can actually work into it. There's my navy, so I can go even darker with my navy to bring out that dimension. And lastly, you can actually go over with white and black. So in the very darkest parts, I can add black, and you can add white in the lightest parts. So you would finish this and then do your next 2 designs. So now I'm going to show you a few examples of some previous applications just to show you the finished products. The first one is one that's called Girlhood. So as you can see, there's all these pastel colors, and she's got some keywords like childish, girlish, and then if we look into the actual illustrations, they really do show that follow through of color and mood and feel, even in the way that the faces have been illustrated. This one is a completely different theme, and we can see that her 3 designs, these have actually been done with inks, and also looking again at the colors and the mood and feel of both of them really work together. Your finished product. So here we have the essay. Also creatively presented, so it's not just a blank piece of paper, but there's thought gone into the way that it is presented. Then the next is the mood board, and we can also see there's sort of this luxurious, glitzy, glamorous feel to it. And lastly, we see the designs and the fashion sketches inspired by the mood board. Above all, the most important part of this process is to have fun, be creative, and be inspired.